you know. Today it's a privilege, huge privilege, an honor for me to welcome you all. Today, the title we have set here, BIDA-BBF Investment Summit 2021. We always call it that problems opens an opportunity or challenges opens an opportunity. During this COVID back in 2020, we organized a series of webinars, seminars, virtual seminars, and we draw the attention of a number of people globally. And we have invited Honorable Executive Chairman of BIDA many times to our webinars. And after that, we have signed one MOU with Bangladesh Investment Development Authority back in 24th of February. And today is the first webinar after the signing MOU with BIDA. So BIDA and BBF, we are working together. So with this note, I would like to express my deepest gratitude to all of you who are joining this session. And I would like to welcome Honorable Chief Guest today, Honorable Minister of Planning, Government of the People's Republic of Bangladesh, Mr. M.A. Mannan MP. We are truly grateful to him because whenever we invited him, you never said no. Sir, thank you so much again joining in our seminar as Honorable Chief Guest. And this session will be chaired by Honorable Executive Chairman, Bangladesh Investment Development Authority, Mr. Sazzad Rashid. And we have here the Ambassador of Japan, always very humble, down to the earth. His Excellency, Mr. Naoki Ito, joining in our seminar. Thank you so very much. We have here keynote speaker, guest of honor, Dr. Atiur Rahman, former Governor of Bangladesh Bank and advisor BBF. Sir, thank you so much for joining us. And we have here investors from different countries, and we have our BBF Global team. They attended from entire globe, USA, UK, and many parts of the world they have attended. Now, then let me move on. Now I would like to call upon today's keynote speaker, very eminent keynote speaker. And he is a former governor of Bangladesh Bank, Central Bank, and a very popular figure in the country, a very down to the earth, Dr. Atiur Rahman, who is also advisor BBF. Proud to have Dr. Atiur Rahman.
Professor Masood, today's chair of this session, the executive chair of BIDA, Mr. Islam, the chief guest, Honorable Planning Minister, Mr. Mannan, special guest, His Excellency Ambassador Naoki Ito, Japanese ambassador here in Dhaka, my fellow NRB colleagues from all around the world, and those who are hearing us from Bangladesh and abroad. I really want to congratulate both BBF and BIDA for making this possible. We have been dreaming of it, that the BBF and the BIDA will work together and project the positive image of Bangladesh and also attract foreign direct investment and also investments from our NRBs. So I thought this is a very, very auspicious occasion that we are talking. Although, in the country itself, we are going through a very bad patch of pandemic, and many people are really in a very difficult mental condition. But yet, I thought life moves on, and we are moving on. Thank you very much for organizing this.
So much. Now I move on to the special guest. As I told, very humble, very down to earth. And whenever I call, Your Excellency, you have to attend there. He never said no. This is none other than the Ambassador of Japan, His Excellency Naoki Ito. Your Excellency, please deliver a speech as very special guest today.
Thank you very much, Professor Masood Khan. So I'm so honored to have this opportunity. So Honorable Chief Guest, Mr. M.A. Mannan, Minister of Planning, Dr. Atiur Rahman, former Governor of Bangladesh Bank, Mr. Sirazul Islam, Executive Chairman of BIDA. Respective participants, Assalamu alaikum, Shubho Shonda, and good evening and good morning, I should say. So no doubt Bangladesh is a very attractive nation for foreign investment. And no doubt that Bangladesh will be the fastest growing country in this decade in Asia. And as has been already touched upon, Bangladesh has a strategic location linking Asia and ASEAN and China. So it has a very, very important location economically, politically, strategically. And there is a very, very high expectation on Bangladesh because Bangladesh has rich human resources and high growth rate, as well as high growth potentials. If I may talk a little bit about the Japan-Bangladesh economic partnership. This year, we have 321 Japanese companies operating here in Bangladesh. And compared to the figure of 10 years ago, this number has been actually quadrupled. And the amount of investment from Japan to Bangladesh is still not very big. So it was 60 million US dollars in fiscal year 19. But compared to 10 years ago, the figure has been tripled. And I'm sure that there is a big room for these FDIs coming from Japan to Bangladesh will grow. And actually, when you look at the Japanese investment into Asia, 50 to 60% of Japanese investment into Asia are going to ASEAN countries. But if you can divert 1% of Japanese investment into ASEAN, that will be approximately 200 million to 300 million US dollars. So I think that is a kind of amount of investment. If we can get hold of coming to Bangladesh, that would really change the landscape of Japan-Bangladesh investment partnership. And that is something I'm really looking forward to achieving. Last year, unfortunately, because of coronavirus situation, I would say most of the Japanese companies' representatives went back to Japan, but 70%, 80% of them have returned. So this year, it's a really important year for us to step up this partnership, economic partnership between Japan and Bangladesh. And in particular, during Corona pandemic period, vulnerability of supply chain was sort of highlighted. So I think not only for Japanese companies, but those companies in Asia are going to diversify the source of supplies of, say, materials, intermediary goods, final products. So once this pandemic situation improves and subsidizes, I'm sure that it will be a great opportunity for Bangladesh to attract more foreign direct investments. In relation to Corona pandemic, I want to raise one point. That is the importance of vaccination, or providing opportunities for vaccination for all the expats working for business with working permit. So still those expats are not eligible for vaccination. So hopefully BIDA will work on this very important topic right now so that all the expats working for business with working permit will be able to have an opportunity for inoculation sooner rather than later. I really would like to emphasize that the policy direction, visions, and planning of the future development of this economy has been in the right direction. So this, I think, a story has been already mentioned by our presenter and other previous speakers. I'm not going to into detail of this, but Vision 2041 this one-stop service, ease of doing business, and so forth. But what I want to emphasize is this year, it's really important. We really need to accelerate those efforts and policy implementation towards those policy objectives and visions and plans. So once a pandemic goes away, so we really need to focus our efforts in a very consolidated and coordinated effort. I think that is something we are really required to do this year. I would like to talk about 3 points, which I think are very important to continue to address to see the, I think, better road of development by Bangladesh. And I think most of the points have been already mentioned, but first point I want to mention is the importance of Bangladesh being regional hub of connectivity and regional hub of economic growth. I had a chance to attend these twin celebrations in the second half of March, namely birth centenary of Bangabandhu, as well as a 50 years anniversary of independence of this country. And 5 leaders of this region attended a series of wonderful celebrations in 10 days. But that clearly highlighted that the Bangladesh is now in a position to host regional diplomacy. And Bangladesh has become, or getting to become, the regional hub of connectivity. In each one of the bilateral meetings Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina had, she talked about the importance of connectivity, regional connectivity, not only with Indian Prime Minister, but also with leaders from Maldives and Sri Lanka and Nepal, so everybody. So it is clearly showing that now Bangladesh is becoming a regional hub of connectivity. And this is a key to connect India and ASEAN with Bangladesh being the hub. And if Bangladesh can develop being a regional hub and maintaining the prosperity and stability of Bay of Bengal, I think that will lead to the creation of free and open Indo-Pacific. I think this is very important element Bangladesh needs to continue to work on. This is the point number 1. And point number 2 is, this is the point actually Dr. Atiur Rahman mentioned, but infrastructure development. Stable infrastructure development is very, very important. Dr. Atiur Rahman mentioned MLT. I think line 6 will be able to have a partial opening by the end of the year. And actually rolling stock, the carriage of the line 6 arrived in Dhaka a couple of days ago. And if you look at the amount of ODA Japan provided, the last fiscal year of Japan, which ended in the end of March, Bangladesh became the largest recipient of Japanese ODA, which stands at 3.5 billion US dollars. So the Bangladesh became the #1 recipient of Japanese ODA. That clearly demonstrates that Japan's commitment to infrastructure building of this country, particularly to see the realization of the Big B concept, Bay of Bengal Industrial Growth Belt, which was launched by 2 leaders back in 2014. The Japanese government supports the Bangladesh government policy, which is to develop quality infrastructure towards the future. One thing I should draw your attention is the importance of the sustainability of debt. Debt sustainability is a very, very important element when you look at infrastructure development. So I'm in full agreement with the way Bangladesh government is focusing on the important infrastructure, necessary infrastructure, which is economically viable, which is very important to bring Bangladesh towards the future. So so far, Bangladesh has been controlling itself, not be bogged down in this debt sustainability, and not to choose unnecessary project. So I think this cautious, prudent attitude towards infrastructure is very, very important for the midterm to long-term growth, as well as to maintain the attractiveness of development. But if Bangladesh can become regional hub of connectivity, and if Bangladesh achieve steady infrastructure development, I would say that the image or perception on Bangladesh would really change. I think that is a very important effort this government and people and the company need to continue to do. The last element, which I think important, is the improvement in business environment. I would say regulatory reform. An important thing is to take care of the needs of those foreign companies which are active, which are already operational in this country. So if those issues and challenges are taken care of, then those existing companies will expand its business operations, and also those potential investors in foreign countries will see Bangladesh better opportunities. And I must say that over the last 1 year, during COVID period, Bangladesh government has done really wonderful job. So they have really resolved important challenges and issues which Japanese companies had 1 year ago. Although there are some issues, remaining issues, but issues like parent company loans on working capital, or loyalty remittance restriction, or the dual use of container between port and SEZ, and also the reduction of automobile registration fees. Those issues have been resolved. And also I would expect that the BIDA will find a good solution for the restrictions on project office operation, as well as repatriation by branch offices. But there are a couple of symbolic issues which I would like to see the quick resolution. One is the restrictions on the telegraphic transfer when it comes to the this methodology to settle the trade account. So still in this country, LC is the main method of settlement. But TT, telegraph transfer, is still subject to some restriction amount as well as other restrictions. In Asia, there are only 2 countries where LC is the main methodology of settlement of trade account. One is Bangladesh and another is Pakistan. So this is a very, very symbolic issue. So if telegraph transfer becomes a main method of settling trade account, I think again, this is a perception issue, image issue. So the foreign investors will look more positively the relationship with Bangladesh. And another symbolic issue is the cash incentives for RMG export to new market. New market is, of course, those markets except North America and Europe. So the markets in Asia, including Japan, China, Korea, those are the new markets. But when it comes to cash incentives for RMG export to new market, so-called Type A company is not eligible. Type A company is a 100% foreign-owned company, but joint venture as well as domestic companies are eligible for 4% cash incentive when export RMG products to new market. But as a policy, this doesn't really make sense because idea is to encourage a private business to increase RMG export to new market. Then those companies held by those Asian markets, Asian countries, need to be eligible for this cash incentive. I think those are 2 symbolic issues which I really would like to see the quick solution. One participant asked me a question about Arai Hajao Special Economic Zone, Japanese exclusive economic zone. This is going really well with the cooperation of BESA. And my goal is to make this Arai Hajao Special Economic Zone as the best possible economic zone in Asia. because obviously Arai Hajar is competing with economic zone in other countries in Asia, the ASEAN countries as well as India. So Arai Hajar needs to be the best possible economic zone in Asia. So government has been working really hard towards that end, but I would say there should be more incentives to be given for potential investors, including corporate tax incentives. But I'm dubbing this $1 billion investment project by 100 Japanese companies. And Arai Hajar will be ready for companies to operate by the end of next year. So I have a high expectation on this Arai Hajar project. And once Arai Hajar, starts well, then there will be next Japan exclusive economic zone. That will be Mirshorai, and hopefully even in Matabari Island. So there will be the Japan exclusive economic zone. Step by step, the first Arai Hajar, then Mirshorai, then other. I think that is what I think to develop a Japan exclusive economic zone. And one more chance is here. That is the possible investment by a Japanese company into automobile sector. One Japanese automobile company, Mitsubishi, is now considering to make investment to set up a CKD manufacturing plant in Bangladesh in close cooperation with Ministry of Industry. So they are now about to sign MOU to start the joint feasibility study on viability to set up a CKD plant here in Bangladesh. But once this is done, this is going to be the first investment by a Japanese auto manufacturer on CKD plant, which would provide this large amount of investment, as well as to ensure the technological transfer to this country in this very, very important sector of industrialization. So I will stop here, but before concluding, there are some other challenges for the future. One issue is the issue of airport, but I would say this customs clearance, both airport as well as port, this is going to be, I think, a long-term challenge for this country. Time as well as cost for customs clearance needs to be improved. And also FTA, CEPA, beyond this LDC graduation, I do really hope that government will take a very aggressive policy to conclude FTA and EPAs. That would ensure the long-term success of FDI encouragement, as well as to enhance trade relations with major trading partners in the region and beyond. So thank you very much, and I look forward to continuing to work closely with BIDA and other government organizations. And I must say that the planning minister has been playing a very, very important role for this infrastructure development. I must thank planning minister for his wonderful effort and cooperation taking this opportunity. And at the very end, I would like to congratulate on the MOU concluded between BBF and BIDA. Thank you very much for having me. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Excellency. I salute you. I'm moved by, I'm truly impressed by your very lucid speech, Your Excellency, as you always do. Before I was talking to the Honorable Minister, and he was appreciating your speech, your leadership, your personality. Thank you so very much. Especially you mentioned about Bangladesh. So many important things, regional hub of connectivity. You have pointed out so many important things, especially you have highlighted Bangladesh's image is getting in different perspective. Like there is a perception that Bangladesh is a country of poverty, a country of so many negativity. But this country is going to be the, as said, bull case. So thank you so very much, Your Excellency. And under the leadership of Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, we call her a magic woman, because one single lady running this whole country. Any single small thing, she take care. So Honorable Prime Minister, I salute her. Excellency, the Prime Minister of Bangladesh, Sheikh Hasina. She has drawn the attention of the entire world by her excellent leadership. Thank you so much, Your Excellency, for your beautiful, lucid speech. Thank you once again. Now, I would like to call up today's very distinguished chief guest, and again, very humble, down to the earth, and a personality whom I always been inspired by him. His Excellency, Bangladesh, Prime Minister of Bangladesh, Mr. M. Mannan. Sir, if you deliver a speech. Honorable Prime Minister of Bangladesh, His Excellency, M. Mannan.
Sir, please unmute yourself.
Yeah, I was muted.
Yes.
Thank you. Professor Masood, thank you very much for your kind introduction. I would like to begin by thanking all the distinguished guests spread almost all over the world, East and West, and also in the European continent. It's a very important issue of investment. That's an ongoing thing in all economies. Even the advanced economy like Japan or the US, they also need investments to keep going into the future. And for a country like Bangladesh, which is at a very critical stage of growth, just coming out of poverty into lower middle income region now, globally, we have a very strong and very large need for investment, both domestic as well as overseas. All we can do in the government is that we can create situations where things will improve on the ground so that our investors, both from inside and outside, and let me be very clear about it. All investors are welcome here. Domestic investors, overseas investors, everyone must be given due importance. So we have to make our grounds clear within the country. And here is the point that I would like to emphasize is that we have to make things simple, make things easy, make things smooth for investors. I must admit, we have many rules and regulations which are not very conducive to, and not very friendly also, particularly to the new investors, people who don't know our country very well. So these issues need to be kept in sight by our government. The present government of Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has been working very hard in cutting all the red tapes and as far as possible, but we are still not there where we want to be. Particularly when we go and consider this matter of ease of doing business, we can see that there's a lot to be done. So what I need to say is that, yes, we have just entered the threshold of middle income economy. We have a long way to go, and we have to work very hard. We have to work very hard, and we have to see that we are with the world, not beyond the world. That is very important because following our independence and our desire to become a modern economy, what we need now is that we have to connect ourselves with the countries that are on the march forward, not stay away. So this is an important point. Our Prime Minister is very forward-looking. She's very liberal about her attitude towards modern systems, and she very much would like to see that we come out of this poverty trap that we had been for hundreds of years almost, and we achieve a better living standards for our people, and also we are able to join the advanced economies and try to sort of complement or supplement, as you would like to see, the economic activities of the larger economies, so that we all end up in a win-win situation for everyone. My job today here was to listen to all of you, which I think I have done patiently. There has been a lot of very, very, very significant comments. I can't name everyone and go by every point because the time is quite already late. We have been here almost 2 hours. I would like to thank particularly His Excellency Ambassador Naoki Ito, good friend of ours, Ambassador of Japan. He was very forthright in his statement, and he mentioned some very significant areas of cooperation between his country and ours. He was very happy about Arai Economic Zone, and he even said that he would like to see this to be the best economic zone that he can think of. Fantastic! I thank him for that. I can assure him that from our side.
Arai
Hazard economic zone. Someone
Yeah.
is sick. Okay, fine.
Yes,
So
sir.
we would like to assure him that we would like to provide all assistance in this regard. And like in other cases also, Japan has been at this moment the largest overseas investor, largest development partner, as you say, and Japan is, as it is culturally also very well integrated with our people. We know Japan for hundreds of years. So in that light, I think our cooperation and friendship will grow in the years to come, and both countries will benefit. Our father of the nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, had visited Japan right after independence, I think in the year 1972. And the first assurance of our Bangabandhu Jamuna Bridge was at that time, Japanese government assured him that they would send a team for feasibility studies. And that was done. And from there, we built up on this present Bangabandhu Bridge. And the East-West Interconnector, that's another landmark project, was implemented by our Japanese friends, which brought the two grids, lines, power grids between the other side of Jamuna and eastern side, and we got together as a country as a whole. So these are very important areas we can cooperate with Japan. He mentioned about Mitsubishi's interest in auto manufacturing in this country. And he also was very forthright about difficulties of customs clearance. I quite agree with him, although I don't feel very happy about the situation. It's one of the burning issues that has been causing a lot of pains for our overseas investors, even for our own people. So I'm sure our government will take note of these things, and we keep on improving the situation in the days to come. Well, our government's man in this business of overseas investment, Muhammad Sirajul Islam, who is the executive chairman of BIDA, that is the agency where all things happening with regard to investment. So he has been patiently chairing this session, and I'm sure he has taken note of, and he's a director who presented a very detailed paper. So BIDA will naturally be fully engaged with our investment situations, and I'm sure BIDA and BBF cooperation will grow in the years to come, and BBF has a very strong network, it appears to me, all over the world in building our image, in branding Bangladesh, as they say. So I wish them further more and more success in this very important but very difficult business of branding a country like ours. We are sure about the difficulties that they face, but I can assure Professor Masood that all his points of interactions in New York, in the UK, in Thailand, in Singapore, wherever they are, the government of Bangladesh will provide necessary assistance and necessary support in their efforts to promote our country. I don't have much more to say. All I need to repeat again is that the government of Bangladesh is ready for doing business. We have our arms open, and we have our BIDA also working full time, including the OSS, one-stop service. I hope it succeeds, because I'm rather cynical about this. I must be truthful. I've been hearing about OSS all these years, for the last 40, 45 years, but somehow it didn't really become one-stop. So I hope it's better now than it was 30 or 20 years before. I hope under the leadership of Sirajul Islam, the few remaining bottlenecks will be cleared and one-stop service will operate really like a one-stop service. I wish BIDA more success in the days to come. So Professor Masood, thank you once again, and thanks to all of your colleagues for giving me this honor of sharing my time with you, and also hearing all your respected participants in this evening's discussion. I must also mention my good friend Professor Atur Rahman, ex-governor of Bangladesh Bank, who gave very detailed just say sort of overview of the investment situation in Bangladesh, and his recommendations were very specific on how we can move things towards a better situation. Thank you, Professor Masood. Thanks to everybody, and good evening.
Thank you, sir. Please accept my highest gratitude, sir, for your inspiration, because we are inspired, truly inspired by your speech, as BBF Global team is highly inspired by your speech, as always.